John Wick is a neo-noir action film and stars Keanu Reeves. The film is about a hitman named John Wick who seeks revenge against a man who kills his dog and steals his car, which were gifts given to John Wick by his dying wife. For those who are wondering why I'm reviewing this movie, two reasons. First reason being, the upcoming film Atomic Blonde has a very John Wick feel to it. And I also looked it up. The director of Atomic Blonde is also the uncredited director of John Wick. And second reason being, the upcoming release of John Wick Chapter 2 on Blu Ray is coming out soon. And I thought, why not tie this film into the upcoming release? So first off, this film is amazing. But much like John Wick Chapter 2, it has problems. But before I get into the problems, I'm going to get into what I liked about the movie. Easily, the action scenes. The action scenes are perfectly choreographed. The cinematography on the action scenes themselves are exquisite. And being completely honest, the action scenes in this movie are the best action scenes in any modern action film. If you want any proof, watch the nightclub scene. That is the best action scene in any film. But I also have to praise the story. This film is just over 90 minutes, and for the first half hour of the film, there's no action. The first half hour just sets up the story and the character of John Wick. And this was actually well done. When I first saw this, I was expecting to be bored by it, but the film really captured the emotion of John Wick, and you really felt for him because he just lost his wife. One of the final gifts she gave to him was a puppy to help him through his grief. And to have that taken away by some thug who was just looking to steal his car. But that's also a bit of a problem because while I liked the first half hour was also very depressing. Because once he got the dog, you knew what was going to happen. The dog was going to get killed. And that's one thing I can't stand in films. I can't stand dog deaths. I find them to be too upsetting, too depressing, and it really takes me out of the film. But once the first half hour is over and done with, that's when the film gets really good. Because the rest of the film is just John Wick trying to hunt down the person who robbed his house. And that leads into one of my favorite parts of the John Wick movies, the hotel. The first time I saw the scene where he goes into the hotel, I was just like, what the hell is this? But the more they go into the hotel and explain the rules of it, that's when I found it to be intriguing. And the little interactions that John Wick has with the receptionist adds a little bit of comedy to the film. Now, I like this movie a lot, but I did say there were problems with this movie. And one of the problems that I noticed during this film was little mistakes that slipped in. There were a couple of moments in the film where the camera moved suddenly, and I was just like, was the camera supposed to move like that? Like there's this one shot where John Wick's wife is collapsing and he's trying to hold on to her, and just as that scene ends, the camera drops a little bit. Now, I don't know if that was intentional or not, but that always bothered me. Another problem I had was continuity errors. There's this one scene where John Wick is filling up his car, and while he's filling up his car, he's talking to these Russian gangsters. And something I noticed was he never paid the fuel for his car. Now, I know little stuff like that can be forgiven, but I'm sorry, he filled up his car and didn't pay for it. Also, while I praised the storytelling in the first half hour of the film, the storytelling in the last hour of the film does become a bit because the rest of the story is basically a revenge story. The entire last hour is just John Wick trying to hunt down this man who killed his dog, and that's it. Overall, while I think John Wick Chapter 2 is a far superior movie than this film, John Wick is still a must-see action film. Like I said, the action scenes in this movie are the best action scenes in any modern action film. The storytelling, while it dips in quality over the course of the film, the first half hour was beautifully told. And like I said, those little problems hold me back from truly liking this film. But for what this film was, it was still a solid film and I would still recommend it. And I'm going to give John Wick an 8.5 out of 10. Thanks so much for watching. If you like what you see, be sure to like my Facebook page, follow me on Twitter, and subscribe to my channel below. As always, I'm NETX5. Thanks so much for watching.